Hi everyone, this is Angela from Anjali Mudra Yoga. I posted a video just a moment ago of a shoulder stand, and I wanted to give a little bit more information about a hernia and what it is and what we can do to prevent and also to heal a hernia. So just a little bit of anatomy of the spine. First, I'm using Kappanji, which is a very good book, but also very a little bit difficult to understand if you don't have anatomy training. So I'll try and break it down a little bit for you. What does our intervertebral disc look like? It looks like this. So we have the vertebrae, and in between the disc, and you see those lines there are called annular fibers, and it holds the nucleus in place. You see that the vertebrae are stacked one on top of each other in the normal image that we have here. Okay, this is the normal disc. This is the disc under load. So there's a bit of a bulging of the disc under load, but this is normal. The problem is when we are misaligned, like this image here, okay? If you're continually misaligned, now this isn't misaligned, misaligned would be in the opposite direction, so it's mostly when we're rounding our back. And rather than having the nucleus pushing in this direction, it's actually pushing backwards. This is the back of our spine here, back of the body. So what that does over time, the annular fibers start to break. The nucleus goes out the back of the body, and the pain happens when the liquid moves to the nerve, and then you have nerve pain, which is horrible. So we need to be very mindful of our postures when we're doing forward bends. The best way to do forward bends is always with a straight spine. So you're lifting up and forward, never rounding the spine. We're very good at rounding the spine. We slouch in our chair, we look at our phones, we type on the computer. That's not a problem. We need to learn to lengthen, straighten, use all the back muscles, the paravertebral muscles which hug the spine, and then come forward with length. So that's how we strengthen and work our spine in the correct way. Now let's say we've already got a hernia, and now we're coming to yoga. It would be really unwise to do forward bends in the beginning of a hernia because there's inflammation. The muscles around the hernia are going to seize up. And there's weakness now, so we need to be very careful to strengthen rather than round. So probably for a period of time you wouldn't do forward bends at all. And then once the injury, the inflammation has gone down, you've healed a little bit, you'd want to do mostly active back bends. So again, lifting up, reaching back, learning how to use all those paravertebral muscles properly. And then once you have strength in the spine, so I'll define strength in the spine. Let's say I'm trying to do a forward bend. I can keep my arms up, or I can keep my arms up, my chest up, and say warrior one. If I'm able to do that for 10, 15 breaths, then I can start doing forward bends. There's nothing set in stone, but you want to make sure that the spine muscles are strong before you start going forward. And even then, when you go forward, you want to keep the arms up, keep lengthening. After a period of time, it will feel nice to round a little bit. And this can be okay as long as the muscles are strong. Because again, when you have an injury, there's a lot of scar tissue that develops around, and that scar tissue needs to stretch a little bit. So stretching is good, but you want to be very careful of rounding the back. If you do round the back, make sure that there's double as much strength as there is release in the rounding. It would be uncomfortable to do any forward bending for the first little while of a hernia, so you wait for it to heal and then do the active back bends. A hernia can happen anywhere in the spine. It's more likely in the cervical and the lumbars. So I think that's pretty much it for what a hernia is, how to prevent, what we can do once we have a hernia. Also helpful is in all our forward bends to sit on a block, because that's going to help the pelvis tilt forward. This is already a big percentage of the forward bend done from the lumbar, from the hips. So if you start on the ground and already your hips are rounded back even slightly, it's going to be either more painful or more difficult or problematic to do these forward bends. So sit on a block, move the flesh of the buttocks back so you're on the front part of the block. The hips are already tilted forward, and then begin your forward bending. So I hope that helps. I hope you don't have to deal with the hernia, but if you do, that should help